If you're not happy with the dealer in your area, you're really hooped. But it's the reputation of lacking reliability, service networks, all of that. People start getting nervous once warranty's up or the leases are up and the vehicle's 3, 4, 5 years old. A lot of people are less daring than they might be if the vehicle's brand new. Life's too short to drive boring cars. Have you ever been looking and saw some Alfa Romeos on the used car market and wondered, how is it that they're so damn cheap? Well, I've got 5 big reasons why that is. Let's get into it now. So the first reason why Alfa Romeos are just so cheap on the used car market is because they're just overpriced in the first place. And why are they overpriced? Well, part of it's because they're Italian. Aside from Fiat, Italian cars are always expensive. I mean, the very association with cars like Maserati, like Ferrari, Lamborghini, those are all expensive vehicles. And of course, if you're affiliated, such as Maserati and Alfa Romeo tend to be through the dealer networks, there's going to be an escalated price. They're pitching it like an upscale luxury car. I mean, great cars like this Alfa Romeo Giulia, for example, 4-door sedan, beautiful car. Of course, they're marketing and they're branding this car as a premium luxury performance sedan. Of course, this is competition with BMWs, this is competition with Jaguars, and as such, you're definitely going to be paying a higher price tag. There's also lower production numbers on a lot of these vehicles, and as a result, because of that, prices are typically going to be a little higher outside of the gate. And what that ultimately means is there's just a lot more room for that ceiling to hit the floor. If cars are not satisfactory, or if there's other reasons why people don't like them, what you're going to find is that huge differential, similar to the BMW world, and it's that very differential that's going to give the appearance or perception of cheap on the used car market. So the second reason why used Alfa Romeos are so cheap is the simple fact that they have a low number of service centers. I can't even tell you how many people I've spoke to when they've got their Alfa Romeo. If you don't like the service center you're going to, good luck, you have no other options. A similar phenomenon also occur with other brands, for example, Maserati, Range Rover, Jaguar, Ferrari, Porsche. Those are usually restricted to one dealer per major city. But other makes like BMW, Benz, Audi often have at least 2 or 3 different dealerships within a major center of at least 1 million people. And what that does is gives you options. Maybe you don't like or have a great relationship with one dealership, you can always go to the other one if that's a problem. And it's low level of service network availability, or the fact that if you're not happy with the dealer in your area, you're really hooped. And I've also heard that that's one of the common gripes by a lot of people that buy these types of vehicles, is that there's a lack of proper service networking. And that's clearly a big problem. If you're looking at a used vehicle, you've got to be able to fix the thing, right? Now there's a third reason why Alfa Romeo suffers such massive depreciation, or they appear cheap on the used car market, is the simple fact that there's a reputation that precedes them. I mean, they're beautiful cars. Everybody would agree. Alfas, Maseratis, Ferraris are all beautiful cars and probably the nicest vehicles you'll find in the respective class. But it's the reputation of lacking reliability, service networks, all of that. It's just a reputation that kills it for a lot of people. A lot of people don't want to get bothered with such a beautiful car. But let's take a look and then we'll try to figure out why. I mean, I look at an Alfa Romeo like this. This is a Giulia. Beautiful wheels. Of course, we got LED tail lights on this all-wheel drive edition. Of course, Alfa Romeo in all its glory, and it's the Giulia. You got 1, 2 tailpipes, and look at the side profile. It's actually kind of flares out at the very base, which does give it a more aggressive stance all the way along. Here in the headlights, of course, LEDs, but it's that grille that really makes this car stand out above the rest. You also do have a large glass panel on the roof, which makes it feel very luxurious. High gloss plastics, keyless, an interior that looks relatively well put together, but that is a little bit of a perception. Either way, they're beautiful cars. They're some of the most ferocious cars in their class. As a matter of fact, the 4-cylinder 2-liter turbo engine in the Giulia outshines the 4-cylinder engine in the BMW 330, 430 variations. So they perform well, they look the part, and they're great, but it's that very reputation. You used to hear about Fiat. Fix it again, Tony. Well, that's kind of what people are thinking. There's that perception that people often have that's been carried through for many generations. Now, unfortunately, there's that constant bias that continually confirms what a lot of people believe, and they don't rank particularly well in terms of reliability. But it's not just about outright reliability. As a matter of fact, sometimes you just want to drive a car for the way it drives, and not just because it never breaks down. Sometimes these cars are worth looking at, but that is the perception and their very reputation that makes it difficult to sell these once they're on the used car market. This is Alfa Romeo Giulia right here, and of course its brother, the SUV. Naturally, they're actually some of the best performing vehicles in their respective class. For example, as I mentioned already, you get the 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder engine, about 280 horsepower, versus BMW, same engine, actually puts out only 255. So those are all very compelling reasons why you would buy this. But the reality is, it is just that. There's so much competition on the market today that actually starts to hamper these premium luxury vehicles, because sometimes people just want something that they know. It's more mainstream, it's more predictable, reliable, the networking is there, and all those factors line up and check all the boxes. Why these vehicles, just the competition actually hurts their resale market in the used car sector. I mean, for example, Mercedes has a great C-Class with different variations of engines. That's one piece of competition. Right here, Audi's also got another competition with the A4s and 5s, for example, as well as you can step into the sport variations with the S series of vehicles. Lexus also has a great vehicle, which really focuses a little less on performance and a little more reliability, but that's another great option. BMW also has that 3 Series cars, which do allow for a great driving experience, and you can get those outfitted with a 4-cylinder or a 6-cylinder turbo engine. So the fact of the matter is, competition is abound, and Alfa, BMW, Mercedes, Audi, they're all great brands in their own way for the driving experience. It really boils down to, do you want the German, Italian experience? You know, maybe there's a certain level of performance you're looking for. There's lots of options. And it also hurts the luxury car vehicles on the secondhand market, just because people start getting nervous once warranty's up or the leases are up and the vehicle's 3, 4, 5 years old. A lot of people are less daring than they might be if the vehicle's brand new. And the fifth reason why used Alfa Romeos are so cheap is largely in part because of reliabilities. Yes, there's still that predicted reliability, which everybody thinks, you know, the perception and the fix it again, Tony thing. But there's also the reality. And the reality is there have been some problems with these gorgeous cars. Now, yes, they are beautiful. Look at this in this wonderful red. It stands out. But it does come with potential problems. You want to know a few? There have been lots of cases and issues. You hear about people in the forums talking about stalling issues or poor running conditions, battery draining excessively quickly, faulty throttle bodies possibly contributing to some of those running conditions, wiring harness issues which can contribute to some of the problems that you're experiencing, and electrics are a big part of that. I've also read on the forums, and I know a person specifically that has commented, the vehicle there has been, in low numbers granted, but just went completely blanked out, locked them in the vehicle. They couldn't get out. The electrics were dead in the water. The electrical system in general with some of these Italian cars are something in a work in progress. Sadly, they don't quite have it dialed in yet. The driving experience is literally some of the best in the world, but it's the electrics that sometimes shut you down unexpectedly. And it doesn't just end in the standard Giulia. The Quadrifoglio as well is a vehicle that is one of the best performing vehicles in the market, with a twin turbo V6 and about 505 horsepower, but sadly succumbs to some of the same reliability issues. And with all of that said, if you're maybe shopping for a BMW and you're curious as to why maybe used BMWs are so cheap, there's actually a different bunch of reasons for that. Right there, you're gonna love it. You better check it out. It's gonna share a lot of great detail. Hope to see you all very, very soon. Catch you in the next time. Bye-bye.